Good day. This is Pastor JT from Affinity Missionary Baptist Church here in the lovely city of Cleveland, Ohio, early on this Monday morning. Thank you for carving out a space for me to invade your space and share with you some golden nuggets that help you in daily living. Each and every week, I am just blessed that you permitted me to share some extemporaneous topics and scripture interpretation to springboard you into a positive work week. Our scripture this morning can be found in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 14, verses 28 and 29. Yeah, let's do that. It reads as follows: Every third year you shall bring out the full tithe of your produce for that year and store it within your towns. The Levites, because they have no allotment or inheritance with you, as well as the resident aliens, the orphans, and the widows in your towns, may come and eat their fill, so that the Lord your God may bless you in all the work that you undertake. This is a sensitive subject matter, unfortunately, in the life of the church. And sometimes we create a straw man, in essence, to avoid the thematic expression of the text, as opposed to many who try to white knuckle it and discount it. Matter of fact, I've heard, we taught on this just last week in our Wednesday night Bible class, and a participant raised their hand. How do you respond to someone who says tithe is Old Testament? We don't have oxen and herds and wheat and all these other kind of idiosyncrasies that were equated as being the tithe. They asked me how to respond to that. And I'm like, well, yeah, we don't have these particular types of produce that's used as currency today like it was then. But the reality is, if you follow if you discount the Old Testament and then say, well, I want to just follow the New Testament, well, you do realize the New Testament says give it all, not just the 10th. But nevertheless, I like this passage of scripture, even though it's not the go-to verse that we normally quote in church, which is from the book of Malachi. This more or less digs into the function of the tithe, in reality, what it is used for. And this text talks about how it's used for aliens, immigrants, widows, orphans, those that are on the margins of life, that have no means or resources on their own. That's what the church is called to do. The church is called to speak truth to power to those that are in need on the margins of life. And you do that by setting aside a tenth of 100. You set aside. In essence, what God is saying to you, I'm letting you have the 90%. All I'm asking for is the 10%. Many of you heard me say this in other teaching settings, that I look at the tithe as a training wheels to give. Remember, as a kid, when you wore or when you affixed training wheels to your particular bike, you rode with those training wheels because you did not have the back muscles to be able to balance yourself all alone. Well, over time, you began to develop those muscles, and all of a sudden, those training wheels came off and you were able to ride freely. That's what tithing is. Tithing is a base to your giving. When God blesses you and increases your territory, you might find yourself not only giving more in the church, but doing more of your time, talent, treasure, and testimony inside and outside the church. And if you are so stringent as you are just measuring it, and when you say you get to the 10th, that's it, don't ask me no more, then you have to really question your heart or motivation for giving. But look, I want to push all the members of Affinity, as well as those who want to be a blessing to those churches and organizations who are doing the work of ministry. Be a blessing to your local church. Salvation is free, but to deliver that with all of the challenges that not only the administrative, but the operational challenges, even of a building of this particular size. There are costs. I've never been here or at any other church where we have received a bill in the mail and then I write on it, Jesus paid it all, and send it back. The unfortunate reality is if I did that, they send it back to me and say, yeah, but you need to pay X amount of dollars or we gonna cut it off. So I say that in a humorous manner, but I also say that with intent to please be a blessing to your local church. Start off a regiment of giving. And if you can't give 10% because your budget doesn't allow that, then start maybe at 3 or 4 or 5. And then when God sees how serious you are, He will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you will have no room to receive. And then you will, in turn, reciprocate that through thanking Him through your tithe. Look, I hope that blessed you on today like it blessed me. Continue to connect with me each and every work day as I share with you the word on the net. Take care.